Soul Sailing. We're winding down 2025. This is, I think, what the hell, it's like 2 days after Christmas, so it's like the 27th. And yeah, yesterday was something. Basically, yesterday was if you just look at the silver market for yesterday if you want to see. Sorry, Lalanchas going by. Uh, yeah. Anyway, yesterday was probably the first day of the new uh, economic um, disorder. Let's call it that. We're not entering a new economic order. Entering an economic disorder, and a lot of that has to do with the EU's bungled attempt to seize Russia's the $200 billion in Russian assets that are frozen in Brussels, mostly in Brussels, and yeah, that didn't work out well. Um, not it was yeah, and it ended up with the EU threatening Italy because Italy wouldn't get in line. Brussels wouldn't even go along with it. Belgium wouldn't go along with it, and the EU's headquarters was in Belgium. Um, it's like if Washington decided to do something and the United States wouldn't go along with it, which happens. But so internally they're in chaos. They've completely lost legitimacy. The EU has completely lost legitimacy, but this actually really ties in with, we're going to do a reading on Russia today, see how Russia's looking for 2026. But this really, it ties in with what's going on, what they tried to do with Russia. Because they by trying to seize Russian assets, the EU pretty much slit its own throat wide open. I mean, you ain't gonna put a tourniquet around its neck and staunch the bleeding on that wound. Well, that's kind of what they're gonna have to do. It's gonna be like a headless goose running around out in the farmyard after the farmer chopped its head off. Um, So, and here's the problem: the 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 U.S. dollar was really damaged by the seizure of Russian assets, the weaponization of the world's central currency. That's kind of what motivated BRICS, I think, to move up the introduction of its unit, which is going to come out next year, which is really going to gut the Western banking cabal, um, which is okay. I mean, fuck those fuckers. But anyway, but it's nowhere is going to be hurt as hard as the EU because the EU doesn't have the backstops that the U.S. dollar has. I mean, we've got Fort Knox in the U.S. I mean, in theory, we got a bunch of gold there. Hopefully, it isn't like the money heist or whatever, that show where they painted the bars of gold, coated a bunch of lead with a little bit of gold and stole all the gold from anyway, Spain. But anyway, they've got the U.S. has got options. The U.S. can still, like, $200 million. That sounds like a lot of money, but for the U.S., that would cover our interest on our national debt, our bond interest for like 6 weeks. That's like 1 month credit card payment, basically. Yeah, busy day today apparently. So it means a little bit more to Russia, but even so, Russia's fine because Russia can sell they cut off the gas sales to Germany. Germany went bankrupt because they couldn't afford electricity, and Russia just sold their gas to China. And, you know, um, this is this is a bigger deal though, because the euro is rapidly losing its status as a. It kind of was an imaginary reserve currency to start with. All fiat money is monopoly money at the end of the day. It's all imaginary money, but more so the euro than just about anywhere, because the EU doesn't have any centralized banking system. They've got the European Central Bank, but that's just like a regulatory organization that bosses around the smaller countries, and apparently it's trying to do the same to Italy, which isn't going to go well. But they really can't just push a button like we in the U.S. we do quantitative easing, which is basically money printing out of thin air. It's like it's the Federal Reserve is quantitatively easing more imaginary monopoly money out of its imaginary butthole. You know, people are starting to realize that's a bunch of bullshit. So that's a huge part of the problems that we're having economically right now. But at least the U.S. can still generate some currency that'll at least it'll work in places like Panama and El Salvador. You know, I mean the euro. Try spending a euro in Panama or El Salvador right now. Nobody will touch it, or Guatemala even. You know, it's the euro is about as useless in Latin America right now as the damn Belize dollar, which it's got the queen on it still, even though she's dead. But not sure what that's about. So anyway, let's see what the cards have to say about all this. How's Russia going to get through 2026? How does 2026 look to Russia? Um, is France finally going to fulfill its Napoleonic? Ooh, that's not good. That is really bad. I've never done that before. I totally bunged up. Hopefully, I didn't make too much of a mess. Have to start over. Yeah, are they going to do what Napoleon couldn't, or what is Germany going to do what Hitler couldn't, and whoop Russia's ass? Or are they just poking a bear that's going to come and eat them up and spit them out, maybe shit them out? And just does the bear shit carcasses of cannon fodder in the woods, right? Or in the ice fields of Siberia. Who knows? Let's see what the cards have to say about this. I really think the reading I'm most looking forward to is I'm going to do a reading on the UK for what 2026 looks like for UK. Probably tomorrow or Monday if I take tomorrow off. I might take tomorrow off because Monday's going to be a crazy goddamn day. I guarantee you, this stuff that drove the gold and silver markets crazy on Friday is still picking up speed. I believe anyway. We'll talk about that on Monday, or maybe tomorrow. So let's focus on Russia. Tell us about Russia in 2026. So they're going to be Russia's got a strong masculine spiritual center, and I kind of think that's true. I think they're actually quite I think, I don't know what the country's like, but I know a lot of Russians that are quite Russian Orthodox Christianity is actually pretty interesting. And here's the overall situation, and we're still in the face cards of cups, and we've got the the Page of Cups. So they're going to, something's being initiated based on its profound spiritual center. And here is the Hierophant. So the key to bringing everything together is orthodoxy. You know, maybe the key is no matter how hard they poke the bear just doesn't eat them. Just lets them eat themselves because they're doing a fine job of destroying themselves. Here's the foundation, the root, and that is. In the past, Russia's spent a lot of time mourning what it's lost, but it needs to realize what it still has. And it looks like that's actually happening. This is the present moment, and this is fertility. And the psychological future is a firm decision. And from what I understand about Russian politics, which is not a hell of a lot, so take this with a grain of salt, but Putin is not like a dictator of Russia. He's got a cabinet. He's got like other politicians, a pure political bureaucracy he also has to deal with, like every government. But from what I understand is that he's actually one of the more moderate people, and there's a lot of war hawks within his own country that are kind of trying to force him to go to war. So here is the future, and this is confusion. There's no easy answers. They're going to have to make a firm decision. That's the psychological future. But they're not going to know what's going on because she's blindfolded, and this is where they're going. This is the future. So they're going into. There's a certain amount of guesswork and intuition that's going to have to take part of that, and they fear the passion of strong power figures. Which, I mean, if I lived under Stalin or freaking Khrushchev or well, Stalin, especially Stalin. Yeltsin was no picnic either, but he was just sort of a drunken whoremonger. And here's the astrological energies right now, stars. So Russia has, so they've got the present moment is creation, is powerful creation energy, and they've got they've got astrological energy to bring that into something amazing. And what Russia really wants is balance. I don't think the people, I'm sure there's warmongers in the cabinet, but I don't think the people of Russia necessarily want to go to war either. And here's the future. So after the final outcome, so here's the future, which is confusion. And they're going to have to make a decision to get there without knowing exactly what's going on. And then they're going to have to take a leap into the great unknown, just a wild leap into the dark. So, and this modifies their fears. So if they need to get past their fear of a passionate leader, and they've got, and that's how they're going to achieve this energy. They've got a lot going for them, but there's a lot of conflict around this situation too. There is a lot of conflict, and it's not exactly clear who and what is being at odds here. Hello, all the love to you too. I'm sorry the sun's shining on it, but I can't see who it is. But I return the love, and this modifies balance. And this is maybe bringing them more to get balance. They need to, and this is modifying their desires, which is for balance, and their fears are sort of a powerful masculine passion. Maybe what they need to do is modify that with some, balance that masculine energy out with some feminine compassion, and see, this modifies the final outcome, which is the leap into the unknown. And I think we can safely say they're not going to get a ton of help in this process. So I guess I would have to say it's a powerful reading, and it's a lot of ups and downs, but the outcome is not really clear. They've got potential though. The Russian people have a lot of potential to bring something really good out of this situation. But it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be all good. It's not going to come without some pain and some suffering and some sacrifice and some betrayal. I would think I don't need to tell the people in charge of Russia this, but I'm sure they figure it out. But they got to take everybody involved in this situation as being deceitful, being they really shouldn't believe anything out of anybody's mouth. They should, even Xi in China for that matter. I mean, Xi's a good partner, and BRICS is a good um, way. It was a good resource for him in this insanity that's happening now. This NATO-driven war, and it is. It's totally NATO-driven war. I mean, that's um, the history of the UK is a history of trying to destroy any entity in Europe that rises to power because I guess they still think the sun never sets on their white asses. Not the people of Britain, of course. I mean, the people of Britain are suffering from these same shitbirds that are causing all this trouble. It says color, mother and son, and referred to as a part. The 8-1. Oh, hey. Uh, the 81. Yeah, okay. I get that reference. Um, the red and white. So, hello, and what are you doing, my love? Oh, hey. How are you? How are you doing? I'm actually very happy, and I'm looking forward to, I love you all, including you, my love. But there's one person in particular that I'm really looking forward to seeing in a few weeks, less than 2 weeks, I think. When was the first time the model with bare fingers was introduced in our conference call? Our what? The model with bare fingers. What occasions are there where hand gestures are restricted? I don't know. I mean, this one maybe? No offense. That wasn't to you. That was just thinking, what kind of hand gestures are restricted? Probably that one. I was once working for this political organization, and it was an environmental group, and we were flying around, and the pilot actually, he was a crazy Irishman. He had a small plane. We were flying around a little Cessna 182, nice plane. I liked it a lot, and he didn't have a instrument rating, so I was his navigator, and enjoyed the hell out of it. And one time, he was Irish. What can I say? One time the senator of this one state where he had his cattle ranch was walking out of a meeting, and my Irish friend he just yelled at him, "You motherfucker!" And he gave him two fingers, uh, which I thought was pretty ballsy. I wouldn't. I was the navigator. I didn't. I didn't even mind that senator that much. He wasn't the worst of the scumbags that I ever dealt with in the U.S. Senate. Um, let's see, what do we got here? Well, y'all. So anyway, they got a lot of potential, and there's not this something good could come out of this, but it's not going to come with some pain and without some suffering. And I mean, they've already lost like I don't know whole the numbers vary, and but the I'd say that they've at least lost twice as many of their young soldiers as the United States lost in the entire Vietnam War. So it's not good. Let's see. So hello, and I am doing well. I am doing well. It's been a weird day. It's nice now. I haven't been swimming or anything because it was a couple of fronts came through, and last couple of days, but we're supposed to get like 1.5 inches of rain here today, but we haven't got it yet. And I'm doing so well that um, my the wind and the tide has kind of sent the back of my boat out into the launch traffic, which is like being on a bus route. So I don't really like to swim because they come buzzing by my boat pretty closely. So I'm a little nervous about swimming off the boat when I'm facing this direction. But damn, it's getting hot, and I would really like to go swimming. Uh, I suppose I can swim on that side of the boat. Um, my ladder's on the one side, and I like to swim on that side in case I have to get out of the water in case uh, some launch is coming at me. Um, so anyway, I love you all. I hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend. I hope may the cards ever be in your favor. Because I'm sure if I could give you all a reading, my cards would love you. I can tell my cards just love some people. There was this woman, her name is Mary Beth. I was at this Anchorage last weekend, I guess. It's already been a week. Um, and it was beautiful. We were swimming. It was her birthday. We were celebrating her birthday, and I just knew my cards wanted to talk to her. And I hadn't really given anybody a tarot card reading here yet, and I've been here, I guess, over a month, about 6, 7, 8 weeks, something like that. And sure enough, I gave her a reading. I gave her and two of her friends a reading as a birthday gift. And my cards absolutely loved Mary Beth. She's pretty spectacular. She's a sailor. She's a much better sailor than I am. And I was happy to be able to celebrate her birthday, and my cards were happy to see her. So I'm sure they would love to talk to you too. I have no way of doing this. Victoria's the technology maven, and she's going to be here for about 6 weeks, but I'm going to be busy. I may do a few readings when Victoria's here, but I may not because I'll be even happier. And yeah, I love you all, but Victoria, much more so than sorry to be honest, but all of you combined, because she's pretty special. She is the most unique human I've ever met in my life, and I love her dearly. So you guys have a great weekend. I will probably, I may give you tomorrow and I may not, but I think I might because it's fun. Talk to you later.